What do the following things have in common? Golden eagles, racism, margarine and a painting by former cricketer Phil Tufnell. Well, the answer is, of course, that they're all made of atoms, and they've all featured on The One Show, the BBC's flagship lightweight early evening chat and issues thing. Let's take a look at it. The One Show is a bland, smiley cuppa soup of a programme which BBC One likes to gently piddle all over your living room carpet every weeknight forever and ever, amen.
Today, another big question, butter or margarine?
It's hosted by cheerful gargoyle Adrian Charles and beautiful stick Christine Blakely.
We are excited. It is Sir Tom Jones.
Basically, it's a load of chummy, sofa-bound chit-chat with a series of celebrity guests.
How's that?
Broken up by a bewilderingly random collection of VTs from bewilderingly random reporters like her and him and this and that, covering light subjects 1 minute and nasty ones the next.
Skin was peeling off. You could touch it and the skin was just coming off from your fingers.
They also nod a lot. In fact, there's more noddy shots than a 20-hour documentary on the human capacity to nod. In fact, they might as well call it the f***ing Nod Show. Of course, many of the subjects they're nodding about are downright pedestrian, forcing the directors to spice up their pieces with slightly desperate camera work like this. Woohoo! It's Terry Waits! Anyway, apart from entertaining millions, the show's main purpose seems to be to try and convince everyone tuning in that Britain's one big happy, cheery jumble sale and that, bar the occasional serious issue where we all have to look a little bit concerned,
you can be blind by the age of 30.
everything's lovely and wonderful and super and fine and there's no such thing as death. And oh look, Neil Sedaka's playing the piano over footage of a rescued turtle. Isn't that nice? Lovely. What a lovely, lovely show. The One Show is on every day. That's how they keep the quality up. I don't know, what did you make? A lot of the appeal comes down to the presenters, Adrian and Christine. What do you make of them?
I think that Christine is like really, you know, that kind of happy, smiley presenter-y. And Adrian's kind of like the face of Greggs. You know, it's not really anything, there's nothing really special about him. And I do like Greggs, by the way. But
thanks for clearing that one up. We got a lot of comments from people sort of saying, he's ugly, Adrian Charles is ugly. And I don't think he's just normal. He's like a normal-looking guy. He looks like a butcher, a friendly local butcher who's just broken through. And there he is, and now they've sat him next to a very beautiful woman. He's basically the Ron Jeremy of lightweight magazine shows.
The reason that he appears like just some bloke is the appeal of this sort of show. The people watching it aren't watching it for the information that's being imparted. They're not going to challenge you. Some bloke's going to look at you, half yawn, throw to an item about porridge, show you a wonky vegetable, and wave over.
I think you'll find that Adrian and Christine are very, very popular. We've had lots of viewer comments via Twitter, which is bloody modern. People have tweeted us. Somebody, who is it? Gently Bentley, he calls himself. He says, if there was to be a nuclear war, I think I'd like to hear about it from Adrian and Christine. It would make me feel like it wouldn't be that bad. Although they would then cut to Giles Brandreth finding out what happens if you throw a lemon at a light switch for 4 minutes. Anyway, no matter what you think of the presenters, they've got a difficult job changing tone between light and shade. For example, they'll go from a feature on balloons into one on bowel cancer, and then minutes later you forget, so you think you just watched a report on balloon cancer. I've got a little game for you to see if you can do this. We've written some imaginary one-show links, and I'd like you to try tackling them now. This is for Richard and Jamelia. I'm afraid, Rufus, you're walled.
No, that's fine, because I actually feel like I used to work with Richard and Judy, so I already have a bit of an into this. And if I may, I can actually offer them a little bit of advice.
Do.
You need the breathy exhale, wide eyes, hand clap and rub. That's how you segue from bowel cancer into balloons. So you go, well, thank you very much for that. Well, a lot of people dying of bowel cancer.
I think I've noticed, actually, that when they switch from a light subject to a dark subject, it's always Christine who says it, because it sounds better coming from a beautiful face. And meanwhile, Adrian, though, he'll still be wearing the smile from the previous thing as they were going, oh, balloons. And then she'll say, murder, 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 and he does this. It's the equivalent of literally going... all it is. But anyway, we've written some imaginary one-show links, and I'd like you to try tackling them now. Richard and Jamelia,
okay.
If you'd like to take on the persona of Adrian and Christine, it's all about matching your voice to the tone of the story, dealing with anything that comes up, It's professionalism that matters. I'm going to be grading you afterwards. If you want to look over there,
Okay.
I'll cue you in, OK? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cue Jamelia.
Hello and welcome to The One Show. I'm Christine Blakely.
And I'm Adrian Hitler. Coming up on tonight's show,
Valerie Singleton meets the man who invented buttons.
Ben Fogle will be enjoying strawberry ice cream in a ditch full of dying horses and cat skeletons.
Rona Cameron visits Britain's loveliest
Keep it together!
Visits Britain's loveliest windmill for a sandwich and a poo.
Then Jennifer Ellison takes a penny farthing for a spin around the newly opened tuberculosis wing of the National Museum of Infanticide.
After that, former Sun editor and... I'll just say it anyway. Calvin Mackenzie sits weeping at a kitchen table, punching himself in the kidneys before snapping out of it and meeting Somerset's top pastry chef.
And I'll find myself reading a sentence that carries on much further than I anticipated, one that keeps going, giving me no opportunity to breathe or even think, except to wonder how long I'm going to have to sit here talking through my mouth. Go on, look at my mouth, zoom the camera in and stare at it and imagine the things I've done with this mouth. Secret things, bedroom things, everyone in the audience and everyone at home stare right down the gaping wet hole of my mouth. Keep looking, don't you dare look away or I'll kill you. I'll kill you, every last one of you, I swear to God.
Well done, well done. I think, Richard, you cope probably the best out of the two of you. Richard, you get 2 points. Jamelia, you get 1. I think the biggest nightmare... Adrian and Christine deal with it pretty well, considering, but for the guests, it must be a nightmare. Take a look at this. This is how the Sky Plus listing summed up what one poor guy, Neil Sedaka, had to deal with. Singer-songwriter Neil Sedaka joins the show to discuss the dangers of laser surgery, the plight of the Scottish wildcat, and how the hoax Hitler diaries fooled a national newspaper. Extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, you're familiar with the concept of an O face, I take it, and I think there is such a thing as a one face, which is the expression you pull when you realise you don't know what on earth to say. We've got a VT here of some guests on the One Show being flummoxed by subject matters. Take a look to see how they respond.
Do you worry about how sustainable the stuff is that you eat, Peter?
No, I don't worry about how sustainable the stuff is I eat.
So what do you think? Do you think he's got a point there?
Yeah, I do. I think. I think.
How do you feel about when you hear a woman make a noise like this when she hits the ball? Ombudsman. Did you know it's one of the very few words of Swedish origin in common English usage?
Really?
Yes, that's true.
Oh, it's drifting off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alan Carr there, apparently experiencing brain death on live television. I mean, have you ever been on the One Show? We erroneously thought you had.
Yes, but that is because your researchers mainly use Wikipedia.
Do you know what? I've actually been asked, but I actually said no because I'm just scared I'm going to end up next to someone who like drinks wee or something. Because it's like.
Well, too late for that.
Anyway, the One Show is supposed to be an educational programme. You all watched the same episode, but what you didn't know was that I'm going to ask you factual questions based on what you saw to find out if you actually took any of it in, if you got a foothold on any of that mountain of knowledge. No messing around. In fact, we're going to have a serious game show noise. It's not that serious, really, is it? It's a bit fey. Fingers on buzzers. Your time starts now. Who invented the light bulb? Richard.
Swan.
Correct! Joseph Swan. From which other word does the term fan originate? Rufus.
Fanatic.
Incorrect. Richard.
It's from Disciple.
Correct! It's from Disciple. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's what Giles Brandreth said, so it's true. What percentage increase has there been in the number of house husbands in the UK since April last year, Rufus?
Can I just say I refuse to be part of a universe that's governed by the rule that everything Giles Brandreth says is the truth?
You can say that, but it won't make any difference. Jamelia, you're not going to know. No. No, you're not going to get it, are you? None of you are going to get it. That's 80%. Oh. Which breakfast fights off hunger most effectively until lunchtime, Rufus?
Bacon and eggs!
Correct! You all watched very carefully. You didn't.
No.
Were you facing the screen?
I kept falling asleep. It was rubbish.
And in fairness, she's on a lot of heroin.
Anyway, at the end of that, Richard is in the lead with 4 points. Good. Well done, Richard. Well done. You've got 4 meaningless points.